happens. Okay, we talked about it before. If I have some simple thing, like I go and buy a thing of hot dogs and I go and buy a thing of hot dog buns, then I can only make so many hot dogs with buns. And the thing that irritates me is to usually have more hot dogs left over, right? You run out of buns. Okay, same thing here. If I have 5 hot dogs and I have 4 buns, then I can only make 4 hot dogs with buns. And I have a leftover hot dog. So my limiting here is my hot dog buns. My excess is my hot dogs. Okay? It can get a little bit more complex, like making hamburgers. So if I'm taking a hamburger patty, hamburger buns, cheese, and tomatoes, and I put 2 tomatoes on each hamburger, I can only make 3 hamburgers. What is the thing that I run out of that makes it so I can't make any more hamburgers? The actual patty, right? The patty. What do I have excess of?
Cheese, tomato, and bacon.
Good. So limiting, what I ran out of is limiting. What I have excess of or too much of is excess. Now, when we get to our lab, and when we get to some problems, we might end up having like I need 2 of this and 3 of this and 5 of this. But when we get to the end, we only have 1 of something when we need 2. It's my limiting, but I'll also have excess because I'll have 1 left over because I need 2. So it will be in both the excess and the limiting. And I'll show you that in just a sec. The FET that we're going to do in the green area is going to be more like this, okay, where we have molecules, and we'll either be given the molecules on the reactant side or the product side. And you're going to have to figure out how much of each kind we're having on each side. They will give you a balanced equation. Okay, and underneath the balanced equation, you have to figure out how many to put up in. There's a paper in the green area that you're going to pull out. It will tell you how to get to that FET. It will tell you what you need to write down. You're going to write down the equation. You're going to write down how much of each on both sides you have. And it will have a point for excess. I forgot to put a place for limiting. I need you to tell me what one you ran out of on each equation. Okay? So, that's that one. This is sort of what it would be like. So if I cover up the reactant side and they just gave you the product side, you would have to come up with this side over here. Okay? So you would have to say, oh, I need 3 oxygens, 1, 2, 3, and however many hydrogens. So that's what you're going to be doing. Now, putting it back into chemistry. Okay? What were those numbers in front? Somebody tell me what those numbers represent. How did we use them last time? They're moles. They represent moles. And it's a ratio, right? I can set up a whole bunch of ratios. So if I start with 2 moles of each reactant, so 2 moles of nitrogen is 2 moles of hydrogen. What's my mole ratio between nitrogen and hydrogen? 1 to 3. Remember this number right here? That number that's not written is a 1, right? So for every 1 nitrogen, I need 3 hydrogens. Do I have that? If I have 2 moles of this to start with, and I have 2 moles of this to start with, do I have that 1 to 3 ratio?
No.
Okay, if I use all that 2 moles of nitrogen, how many moles of hydrogen would I need? You would need 6, right? Do I have 6? No, I have 2, right? I have 2. So hydrogen becomes my limiting reagent. So we just thought that through. I didn't do any calculations. You can do math. So in order to prove it, I've got to show it with math, right? So let's show it with math. Start with the 2 moles of nitrogen. I'm going to take it through 2 moles of, what is NH3? No. Ammonia. Okay, so 1 mole. I'm using this ratio right here. 1 mole to 2 moles, right? We've done this. And we would cross out moles. Then we would times through 2 times 2, and it's 4. I would also do it for the 2 moles of hydrogen. I would times it through, cross out my moles of hydrogen, and I get 1.3 moles. Which one can I not make very much at? I can only make 1.3 of this, so this becomes my limiting, right? This one becomes, I have too much of it, right? I can't make that much. So that becomes my excess. Can you see how that works? That's how I prove it. Did I already know that up here by just trying to figure it out? Yeah. But this is proving it. Okay? Let's do one more. So what if I have 4.5 moles of each of these reactants to start with? This one's a little bit different ratio. Let's look at it. It's a 2 to 3 ratio. So which one do I need more of? Which one do I need more of? Do I need the iron oxide or do I need more of the carbon? 2 to 3. So for every 2 of these, I need 3 of these. I need more carbon, right? Well, if they give me the same amount, which one's going to be my limiting? Which one am I going to run out of? The carbon, because I need 3 to every 2, right? So we know how it's going to end. How do I prove it? Set up the ratio again, right? So we're going to start with the 4.5. I'm just going to go to iron because that's simple, and if I had to find grams, it would be easier to find grams there. But we're just going to do the mole. So we're going to take that 4.5 through, use the mole ratio. Okay, so here to here, right? What I want to get rid of on the bottom, what I want to go to on the top, and then I can get that. Do the same thing with carbon. And you can see which one makes less. The carbon, right? And because the carbon makes less, this is my what? Limiting. So that makes Fe2O3 my excess. Good. Okay, so we're sort of going to be playing with this a lot today. So you need to be able to figure out what's the limiting, what's the excess, how much of each one I have. Okay, grab your lab. On the second page, or the back of the first page, there are 3 squares. There are 3 squares. If you haven't got the lab, you should have picked it up as you came in. Go grab it. Would you put these numbers in those 3 squares? So on the back of the front page, there's 3 squares. They're labeled TG, which is teddygrams, CC, which is chocolate chip, and MM, which is marshmallow. Okay, or mini marshmallow. Okay, so get those numbers written down real quickly. And we sacrificed a teddygram, a mini marshmallow, and a chocolate chip. Because once we put them on our scales, they have to go in the garbage. So rather than sacrifice more each period, we just did that for you beforehand. Okay? All right, so now turn to the third page. On the third page, down at the bottom left, there is a box that says theoretical yield. You find it? Put 8. 8. If everything was great, you would be able to make 8. Okay? You're going to figure out how many you're going to make when you get to the red area. All right, so let's go over really quickly how this is going to work again. So red area is going to work with me doing teddygram. Green area, you have the white papers that are on your desks. You are working in PhET. It will show you how to get there. It walks you through on one side. On the other side is your assignment. I only need the side with your assignment uploaded. So by the time you leave green, you should have that uploaded. Okay? If you'd like to move in with a group, you're welcome. Or if you don't want to, that's okay too. Okay? The white paper. Just the one side. On Canvas, the white is daily work 6.3. Okay, blue. The quiz today is longer. Okay, so you're working on getting your quiz done. If you get your quiz done, if you haven't finished your daily work from last time, you're working on it. If you finish that, you're going to go back and redo your quizzes, get them all up to 100%. That's what you're doing in blue. You have 20 minutes in each area. Okay, questions? Okay, go ahead and get started. I'll get a timer going, and red, I will be right with you.